what I'm coming to is that if you think of this example, bear this in mind. The trays are material objects that in fact are part of a set of practical and embodied knowledge. So the tangible heritage or the object are in fact incomplete if you just take it out of the context, out of the knowledge, out of the practice of the community or the people who are skilled at using it. So that the object is incomplete without an understanding of the intangible side, which can be the knowledge, the skill, the practice, the context, or vice versa. For example, how you control your hand with this tray, that's part of the knowledge. How the knowledge is transmitted by practice in the family from childhood. How the knowledge is learned. Women learn most of these while men do other things like plowing the land and cutting the rice and other skills. But women are very skillful at using these trays. But like many communities in Thailand, this Thaput community has stopped farming in this way, in the way that Mrs. Kum has been doing, some years ago. So what do we do with all this, the knowledge and the skills that Mrs. Kum has, or some elderly people have, or used to have? And there's no way, there is no channel, and there is no space for transmitting that to the younger generation, because the younger generation, they have high education, they go to town and work as office workers. Nobody wants to do farming anymore because it's hard work. Now, I think museums can come in useful here. Museums cannot replace family or community. It's different. But I think if you kind of try to find ways, it can be a new site of learning and stimulating ideas about the connections between the tangible and intangible cultural heritage. And here are some examples of what we've been trying to do to create that kind of space where practical embodied knowledge can be transmitted. It has been, some are more successful than others. Let's look at Thaput Monastery and community, which is situated in Nakhon Pathom, west of Bangkok. So this is what the museum looks like. In fact, it's not built as a museum. It was built as a library to house the scriptures, the Pali manuscripts and other manuscripts. But about 10 years ago, over 10 years ago, it has been turned into a monastery museum, housing collections of the monastery as well as other objects and artifacts that have been donated by the community. This is another building that used to be a residence of the former abbot, and it has also been turned into another museum building, and that used to be a school. It's a beautiful wooden building. Well, so what are the activities that we have been doing? I mean, this is a kind of typical activity, training school children to be museum tour guides and museum assistants. This is a way of making children feel that they have ownership of the museum and the artifacts and the display, and they can show people around and tell them stories. Like this. We have also asked school children in a school nearby the museum to participate in the cleaning and cataloging of the artifacts. Well, at this museum, they have a lot of these pots, potteries, earthenwares that have been excavated from the river, the big river in front of the monastery. So there's a lot of work to do, and we get children to clean them, measure them, catalog them. But I think Kwan and O have to bribe them with a lot of food and goodies and nice things. So they learn a little bit the basic techniques of keeping the objects in good condition, taking photos of them, measuring them. But I think what is more important is to learn about these objects through stories of elderly people in the community. So we set up a kind of a session in which the younger generation document local history and narratives related to the history of the artifacts and history of the community. So they taking notes and so on. There are also sessions in which children can learn about local crafts. I mean, at this community, they have several kinds of crafts. Like this one is banana bark sculpture. They use kind of very fine pointed knife to cut. All these are banana barks. They cut them into shape and then put them together, assemble them. So this is used for placing a bowl of holy water in some kind of ceremonies, in monastery ceremonies. And basketry is another skill that children can learn. They have a nice way of making these pillows, little pillows from some kind of reeds that grow in the neighborhood. And also toy making. I mean, do you have this in Indonesia? Kind of making fish out of palm leaves. And vegetable sculpture. This is also making, all these nice flowers from carrots and pumpkins and potatoes.